Have you ever been recording in Pro Tools and then, I don't know, you decided to get creative and add on a cool delay effect to your vocals, only to find out that the delay is bouncing around all off beat and it sounds actually horrible? Or maybe you recorded a hook and you want to repeat it a second time in a different part of the song, but for some reason you're having a really hard time lining it up properly to the grid and it's all off beat. A small easy fix is simply setting the BPM. If you didn't already know, now you know. Setting the BPM is a game changer. I've certainly been guilty of starting sessions, recording full songs and all kinds of different things and forgetting to set the BPM and telling Pro Tools essentially what rhythm we are dancing to. Sometimes you might get an instrumental or a beat that already has the BPM labeled on there for you, and excellent. That's half the battle. All you have to do is look at the label and write it down inside of Pro Tools and add it into Pro Tools. But if you aren't so lucky and the BPM is nowhere to be found, there's no need to worry yourself. We can find it in Pro Tools for free. And all you need is a little bit of empowerment. So the easiest way to find the BPM in Pro Tools is to quite literally tap it in to your session. In order to make that happen, we got to do two quick things. First, you're going to come over here to the transport window and turn on the conductor. He is the little dancing dude right over here at the end. So we're just going to turn that on. And then the next thing you need to do is come up to the tempo section and we're just going to click on the number. That's it. Now we're ready to tap in the beat. Tap in the beat. And we can do that by going over to T on the keyboard and tap to the beat. And then you'll see in the transport window that the numbers are changing. Oh yeah, they're changing. And you keep doing that until you believe you have found the correct BPM. And once you've done that, you can unselect the conductor, which you'll notice it will go back to the number that it was at before. So just make sure you remember the BPM and just type it in. Now I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and I'm not gonna lie, I think this way is nice. It's quick, it's fast, it gets the job done, but it leaves far too many questions in my mind. Like, how do I know when to stop tapping the tempo? And if I stop tapping the tempo, how do I know I got it right? Like, what if that's just the number it happened to land on and it's not the correct BPM? And if it's not the correct BPM, then I'm going to still be in the same predicament I was in when I started this mess. So I think that this process causes me a little anxiety because I'll always wonder in the back of my head if indeed that is the BPM. So I want to show you a little bit more accurate way to get the BPM. So as of right now, I have imported a beat into my Pro Tools session, and if you look over in the transport window, it's just a random BPM. It is not set to the correct BPM. Luckily, the producer, Dreamlife, has put on the track the actual BPM, which is 82. So let's pretend he didn't do that. And we're going to try to find the BPM. Before we get to the nitty gritty, let's make sure you are set up for this to work properly, because if you aren't set up appropriately, when you go over to event to click on identify beat, you'll see it's grayed out right now. So you can't even do it. So a couple things. What mode are you working in? Do you want to be in grid mode? Do you want to be in slip mode? It's up to you. Grid mode, literally everything is locked to the grid. And right now our grid is incorrect. We can't trust it. It's set to 135 BPM. So that means anything you do is going to be off. If you're trying to make a loop, your loop is going to be off. If you're trying to like fly your vocals over, the vocals are going to be off because this grid is a lie. Anyways, so yeah, you can continue operating in grid mode, but just remember you can't trust a grid. You can also just turn off the actual grid lines up here in this little box. You can see now the lines have disappeared. You can also just, like I said, go to slip mode, which means you can move this thing wherever you want to move and it's not going to be operating off of the grid, which is honestly, now that I said that out loud, we should be in slip mode. So let's be in slip mode. Next, you want to come up here and make sure this is turned on. It says tab to transients. This is going to come in handy in a bit, so just make sure you toggle this on if it's not already on. And then the conductor, which is the dude in the right hand corner doing his dance with his hands in the air, waving them like he just don't care. So as long as he's on, we can do what we need to do. So right now our goal is to give Pro Tools as much information about this track as we can, because right now it's confused. It doesn't know what is what. It doesn't know what is up or down. So we're gonna start by telling us where the downbeat even starts. And I find it easier to just go, like, if you can see right here, we have the intro, and then you have like these bigger transients starting to come in this area, which leads me to believe those are drums. And it's going to be more useful to you to use a section of the song that has some drums going on to help it better read the information the track is giving. So oops, I zoomed in too far. So let's take a listen to this, and we're gonna look for that first downbeat so we can say, hey, this is where the party begins. So here we go. So I was counting to myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, and each leader number is a bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Those are all bars. So I counted 4 bars. I want Pro Tools to know when the 5th bar begins, because that is where the beat drops. So now that we're right here on this transient, I'm actually going to back up a little bit just to make sure I actually am on the correct transient. And I'm just going to tab on the keyboard until I get to that downbeat. Perfect. Now it looks like we're right at the beginning. We're at the precipice of this downbeat. So I'm just going to press Command I. And Command I is just a shortcut for literally opening up the identify beat situation. Pro Tools is telling us that the location we stopped at is bar 6 for 407, which is, that's not what we want. We want it to be bar 5. Bar 5, number 1. Okay? And as you can see, once I put that in, it almost instantly changed the BPM. Now it says 81.9679. Now, if we go back to elementary school, we know that because it says 81.9, we can technically round up and go to 82. We now know it's at 82 BPM. But if you want to feel a little bit more confident in your decision making, we can take it one step further and add another event to give Pro Tools more information to potentially land on that 82 that we want to see. But right now, we're good. We don't have to do anything else. 81.9 tells me 82 BPMs, but I'm helping you because you're a perfectionist and you need more proof, and you're not a believer. So I'm just going to add another event so we can give more information and see if Pro Tools will catch on to what we're throwing. So here we are at bar 5. Let's count the next 4 bars and see if we can add that information in and get to 82. Okay, so here we are. We're just gonna go back a little bit. I'm gonna press tab so I can get right on the very tippity tip of the transient. Command I, and I think this should be 9-1. Okay, so now that I entered in that next 4-bar loop, it put us at 81.99995. If this doesn't tell you it's 82, I don't know what else will, but because you're asking me to, I'm going to do it one more time. Let's add one more set of 4-bar loops and see if it will push it to 82 for us. 9, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's tab to the next major transient, which is this one. And just in case we got lost in the shuffle, every time I stop, I'm pressing tab on the keyboard until I get to the big one, to the big transient that I'm trying to tell Pro Tools that this is the beginning of the next set of bars. So now I'm going to press Command I, and we're at 13. That looks correct to me. So let's just say okay. And there you have it, people. We have hit 82,000.1. So we know already that this is the correct BPM because the producer left it for us right here in the name of the beat. But we were just checking his work, making sure. Obviously, in real life, you would use this if you had no idea where the beat tempo lays. Nothing can stop us. Oh, something I forgot to show you that is probably going to be helpful to you. Did you see how these numbers are displayed here at the top? 81, 81, 82. Obviously, those are the events that we just created. But if you want to see those, you need to come over here to this left corner under bars and beats, and you need to select tempo so that it shows you that. If I take it away, it disappears. If I click it, the tempo comes back. So mark that number in your head, 82, which we've said 10,000 times already. And now we're going to turn off the conductor and we're just going to type in 82 and we're going to turn our grid back on. I'm switching back to grid mode because I love working in grid mode. It makes moving vocals 1,000% easier. Also, if you want to rearrange the beat, like if you want to take a 4-bar loop selection and move it somewhere else, or you want to loop the intro 10,000 times, I do that when I'm writing music. This is going to be way easier because now the grid knows the BPM. If you start adding in things like vocal delays, the delays are going to be bouncing to the beat, not to its own drum. Okay, so yeah, those two ways are really simple, easy, and free to use in Pro Tools. Tap tempo and identify beat. There's also a couple of other ways that I can dive into in another video. My goal was to keep this video short. So I think those two ways are super helpful and straightforward. My favorite way to find the BPM is by using Mixed in Key. This isn't sponsored, I bought it myself. If you have a few dollars to spend on a few extensions to your recording software, I definitely recommend this one. It not only will it give you the BPM, but it will also find the key of the song for you. It's not always 100% accurate, but it does do this thing where it will give you a couple of options. So let's drag a beat to Mixed in Key, and as you see, it does its thing very, very quickly, and it's telling me that it's in B minor and it's 97 BPM. But if we look down at this little chart, it has a few other options. Like it's saying like, oh yeah, there's a high chance that it's B, but there's also a chance that it's E. So if you start singing along with your Antares, if you use Antares or autotune of any sort, if that's your thing, if you're singing in it and you notice like, oh, this is making me sound worse, you have some options that you can kind of switch to and see if it works better for you. But I would say 95% of the time it's pretty accurate and I love it. Not only can you drag and drop the beat, but if you're already in your session, which most of the time I am, you can just press play. Let me demonstrate for you. I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to press listen, and then I'm going to go into my session with the beat that I already uploaded into Pro Tools. So after listening for a couple of seconds, it's now a new key, new BPM, B flat minor, 82 BPM, which we already know is correct because we just did all the science to figure it out for that specific beat. I think this is worth speeding up your workflow if you are able to swing it in your recording budget. If you're looking to dive deeper into Pro Tools, I have made a few getting started with Pro Tools tutorials that I will link in the description box and to the end of this video for your viewing pleasure. If there's something else that you would like me to dive into, make sure you comment below, like and subscribe, and thank you for your time. You could try to do it